Hi, and welcome to the next drawing exercise. In this drawing exercise, we are going to be drawing a nut. Right, so this is the drawing sheet. First of all, before we start drawing the nut, I am going to be doing it, looks like it's in first angle orthographic projection. I'm going to start with the top view, then the front view, and then the left view. Yes, that's the other way I'm going to be doing it. But before we start drawing anything, we need information. So this nut is going to be M30. Like the bolt in the previous example, M30. Now, remember, across the flats, okay, that's one of the calculations. It's going to be times 1.5. 1.5. Sorry about the little comma there. It's 1.5, which will give us 45, which means it's going to be a 22 radius circle. Then we got to have the nut height. This is called the nut height. Now, compared to the bolt head height, the nut height is thicker. Okay, it's M30 times by 0.8, which will give you 24 millimeters. So that's the height of the bolt, height of the nut height. As I say, I usually get very confusing with bolt height and nut height. Try not to get them too confused, but the nut height is 0.8, the bolt head height is 0.7. Right, so I'm going to draw a circle over here, and this circle is going to have a 45 diameter, or in other words, 22.5 radius. So I get my compass, and I get 22.5. There we go. 22.5. Alright, I'm going to choose an area where I'm going to draw my circle, and I'm going to draw it around here. Okay, and I draw my circle like that. Now this is actually proper. This is actually the top view of the nut. So this actually does correlate. Now in the meantime, I'm going to draw some construction lines. So I'm going to draw a construction line across like that. And I'm going to draw another one upstairs like that. Like this. Okay. And then, just like with the hexagon, construction line upstairs here. And then downstairs, you do another construction line. Just remember, it's always going to be in this orientation unless they tell you to orientate it a different way. Okay, so once you've got those lines over there, just get the 30 degree set square. Line up on the tangent of the circle. Scribe a line. Okay. Line up on the tangent of the circle and scribe a line. Okay, line up on the tangent of the circle, scribe a line, and line on the tangent of the circle with a 30 degree set square, and then scribe a line. There we go. And then you can also do this over here like that, no problem. And there we go, awesome. And that is, there we go. That is basically the what you call it? That is basically the nut. Now remember, it's M30. Oh yes, you haven't done this one yet because we have to draw a hole and the thread for this nut. So remember the depth of thread, or depth of thread. I'm serious. That's how we pronounce it in drawing. Is M30 times by 0.1, which will give you 3 millimeters. Okay, now remember, 3 plus 3, it's 6 millimeters. 30 minus 6 will be 24. So basically that's the size of the drilled hole. So let me do that quickly. As I say, guys, practice this. Try work out the nominal diameter because we're looking out for the nominal diameter. The nominal diameter is 12 millimeters. Okay. Alright, and therefore we draw our circle. This one's a solid circle, guys, because this is a solid hole. You're starting to see through the nut. Now, somebody asked me, do you put hidden detail for the front view and the right view? No, there is no hidden detail on a bolt. There is no hidden detail on a nut. They are the exceptions to hidden detail. In fact, if you do hidden detail on a nut, it looks really messy. Okay, so that represents basically the drilled hole. Alright, so we got the drilled hole over here. Okay, this compass does tend to wander around. You see the pencil there is not coming correctly over here. I'm just trying to fix it up, make it look neater, if you see what I'm getting at. There we go. Now I blended it in nicely. Right, so now we're going to do the depth of thread. Now remember, that's going to be, well, this is the nominal diameter we've just done now. Now the depth of thread is basically just M30, which is 15 millimeters like that. Now remember, you break the arc in the first quadrant, or use your own discretion where you want to break the arc, but I always break it up in the first quadrant. So normally I start over here like that. Remember, it's a thin line. Okay, and you go over there, and that's it. That's all you do. It's a thin line, and that's it. Alright, so there we go. That is basically the top view of our nut. Now we are going to project it. If you guys haven't forgotten what first angle projection is, then I suggest you go back to the training video and try understand it. Okay, so I'm going to draw a construction line over here like that. And I'm going to measure, as usual, like 20 millimeters. I always like to play safe. I measure 20 millimeters above the nut. And I make a little marking. And therefore I scribe a line across like that. Okay, now we're still not finished because I still have to do this. I scribe a line from that corner upstairs like this. Okay, and then I'm going to measure 20 millimeters, and that area is going to be for our left view, which is also going to look very interesting. Now that's why I brought this here along over here just now. This is a solid die, but it works on the same principle as the nut. If you look carefully, there's that circle, and you can see the hexagon on the circle. Yeah, I'll show you what that explains just now. Okay, we haven't got to it yet, but I'll explain to it what it looks like just now. It's very interesting. As I say, pictures say 1,000 words. Okay, now we've got that over there. We're going to project from here to the front view of the nut. By the way, the nut height is 24. So let's get that out of the way quickly. You measure 24 from the bottom of the front view and the left view, because you're going to be doing both views. Because the left view is going to look different. Or should I say the side view? Okay, so please keep in mind what I'm doing. Okay, now let's project upstairs. Okay, so you're going to take from that corner, project up there. Alright, and then you take from this corner, project up there, and then you just take from that corner, and you project up there. And if you look carefully, you've got your little areas where you're going to be drawing your arcs. Now, if you remember from the bolt exercise, remember, you drew one line from there to there, and you drew another line from there to there, and then you do one over here, and then one over here. Let me show you what you do. You have to put an imaginary line in the middle there. And all you have to do is just scribe a small line over here, imaginary line, scribe a line like that over there, flip it over. Well, actually do the other side as well. I keep on forgetting this side, sorry guys. Also put a little small arc over there. You flip it over, and you line it up over there. X marks the spot, X marks the spot, and here's another X marks the spot. In other words, those are my lines of intersection, and that's where we're going to be drawing our arcs from. And there we go. You don't have to draw the line all the way through. That's why I'm trying to show you the smart use of construction lines. Okay. You can start with any arc first. I'm going to start with the big one. I like starting with the big one. Okay. And let's get going. Line up to the top over here. Okay. And you scribe the arc like that from there to there. There we go. That looks very nice. Let's go to the next one. Small arcs. You line up over there like that. Okay, and you draw your arc. Wonderful. There we go. Looking very nice. And then you go to the next intersection of lines. It looks like it's going to line. This is going to be a perfect one. And then we draw an arc like that beautifully. Okay, and there's our arcs done. Now, the next thing we're going to have to do is, as I say, use your own discretion which lines you want to draw first. Some people draw these lines down first, and then this one, and then they do the chamfer. And then some people just draw this line, and then lines up, and then the chamfer or the chamfer. Use your own discretion, guys. I'm going to do the chamfer because I always keep on forgetting the chamfer. Chamfer is a very common one to forget, guys. Please don't forget it. That's why I'm doing it first. Do the chamfer. Remember, it's a 30-degree chamfer. Not 45, 30-degree chamfer. And same on this side, 30-degree chamfer. And there we go. And then you join the lines together at the top like that. There we go. And there we go. There's our bolt head. And then we're going to do the bottom of the bolt. Like that. And then we join our lines up. And voila. It's nearly done, but it's mostly voila. It looks like the bolt head. Yes, it does, but it looks thicker than the bolt head. It's a bit thicker, guys. That's how you can tell the difference between a nut and a bolt head. Because the nut is thicker. Normally, in real life, it's thicker. Alright, and there's your nut height. There's your nut. Okay. Yes, you have a center line going through it, but we're not going to do the center lines yet because we still have to do the side view of the nut. But before we carry on, I want you to check this out. You see what I mean over here? That's what it looks like. Now, when I flip it over, okay, it's not exactly 100%, but can you see the arcs? Can you see that arc over there? You see, that's those arcs that I'm trying to show you there. That's where they come from. Even though this is a solid die, it works on the same principle. Okay, so those are the chamfers. So basically that chamfer that you're drawing there, can you see there's a chamfer there? Okay, it's not exactly 30 degrees, but they use 30 degrees as a reference. And you see that's where they get it from. And yeah, basically that's what it is. Now when you do the side view, it's going to look very different. Okay, so how do you project to the side? Well, you forgot, this is first angle orthographic projection. You can pierce it at the bottom right corner of the front view. Okay, and then you're going to project from the middle, like that. Let's go a little bit bigger. And there we go, up to there. And then you're going to do the next one over here. And there we go, like that. Perfect. Now, all you have to do is scribe a line going upwards. Okay, to see where everything's going. Let's see if it's all equidistant. That's why I like first angle projection. It's very handy sometimes. Okay, and now you do the same thing like you do over here. You have to get these little intersections, but this one's quite easy because all you have to do is just put the intersection in that area, and that's all you have to do. Then you flip it over. Okay, line up on that intersection, cross it, cross it. Now you got those two intersections there. Get your compass. Okay, pierce it, get your arc, okay, and there's the arc over there like that. Sorry. And then you do the arc over here, next one. And there we go, there's the arc over there. Okay, now it's actually quite easy to draw the rest. There is no chamfer. There is no chamfer. Somebody said to me, why are you not drawing a chamfer, sir? Because there is no chamfer. I'll show you just now. Okay, and then you draw the solid line at the bottom. And before we forget, let's do the vertical lines. I will show you just now about the chamfer, but there's one thing I want to do before we run off. And it's something that a lot of people forget to do. And I'm telling you, even I forget sometimes. That's why I want to quickly do it before I forget. That's it. It's the center line. It's a very common thing to forget, guys. And it's like 1 mark in the exam that people lose by just forgetting a center line. Sometimes even 2 marks. So please make sure, put your center line in the middle over here, like we normally do. Okay, and then off to the right, off to the left, and and there's one over there like that. Just want to make sure this one's a little bit longer. Okay, and then finally you also have to do a center line over here too, just a small one, because you have to represent that there's a hole inside of this nut. Okay, so there we go. That's how you draw your nuts. Okay, but before you run off, people ask me, why don't you put a chamfer? Because if you look at this one over here, can you see clearly there is no chamfer? Okay, it's actually a sharp corner. That little chamfer you see there is this little piece over here. Okay, that's the chamfer. But you see where that circle is ending up over there? If you look carefully, it's making a right angle. Okay, it's making a right angle. So that's why it's going to be a sharp corner. Okay. Alright, so that's how you draw your nuts and bolts. That's how you draw your nuts and the bolts from the previous question. Please try to draw this at a vertical angle or a horizontal angle. Try to also draw it with a bolt as well. Just remember, this goes over the bolt. There is no hidden detail. There is no sectioning. We will be doing a basic assembly, but it will be done in AutoCAD, but it'll show you how the nuts and bolts get fitted together. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Just remember to keep on practicing and have a nice day.